welcome back to the painting room, everyone, and to another tag video today. Okay guys, so you might be wondering why the tag owl is hiding. It's because he knows that I'm going to be absolutely atrocious at today's tag. So today we're doing the Deja Vu tag, and I was tagged by books, songs, and other magic. So thank you. However, I do feel the need to apologize because I am all but certain I'm going to butcher this. Alright guys, so let's just dive in. Prompt number 1, do you reread and how often? No. Prompt number 2, why do you or don't you reread? Well, it's actually very simple, I think. It's because there's a lot of new shit and I don't have a whole lot of time. So given the choice, I'm gonna read something new versus rereading. Alright, prompt number 3, what have been your favorite books to reread? Here we go. I feel like editing me should just put this like explosion here because here's where it all goes to hell. I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't reread. And, you know, book, songs, and other magic, he made some wonderful points in his video talking about how, like, if you don't retain your information, you can come back to it. You know, it's almost like a new book. I have actually always been pretty good at retaining what I read. And as such, you know, I really can't do that. Now, I'm not going to say I've never reread. Like, when I was a kid, there were, like, short stories and like storybooks that I would read and read and read and read and read. I feel like as an adult, that compulsion has left me because there's just so much new stuff. And I can recall a good amount of what I've read usually. So it just doesn't hold a whole lot of weight for me to pick up a book that I've already read. All right, prompt number 4, what would you like to reread? Oh God, I'm so sorry. If you clicked on this video, I'm so sorry. So I would probably, if I had to pick stuff to reread, I would probably go back to my childhood and reread things that I remember fondly as kind of getting me into reading, if I had to pick. I know that's a very general answer, but that's probably as close to one as we're gonna get. All right, prompt number 5, what book do you predict will be so good you will want to reread it? There's a ton of books that have been absolutely amazing. The ones that come to mind right off the bat were things like The Vegetarian, Earthlings, the short story collection Gateways to Abomination was really good, but again, echoing what I said, I remember those books. I know what happens. They were beautiful, and I thoroughly enjoyed them and highly recommend them, but at the same time, I'm not going to go back and revisit them because I know what happens. All right, prompt number 6, pick a book from your younger years that you think would be interesting to reread. You know what? Let's go with a funny one because my boyfriend makes fun of me for this, and I mentioned it in a past video. When I was forced in school to read The Old Man and the Sea, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And I guess I have this revulsion in me because of my experience. So maybe I should go back and reread that just to see. Just to see if I would hate it as much now as I did then. Because I know as a kid, when you're forced to read stuff, that really does, like, change the dynamic. So maybe part of me feels like I should give that another chance. I probably won't. But, you know, there's your answer. Prompt number 7, tell us a series or book that's so big or complex you need to reread to better understand. I can't think of anything that I didn't understand the first time. Perhaps something like... The ones that are jumping to my mind are things like John Dies at the End or The Man Who Folded Himself, just because they're very, like, multifaceted. These are books that, like, they're like sci-fi kind of sorta, but they deal with, like, string theory and other planes of existence. But at the same time, I feel like I understood them pretty well the first time. So I feel like we have a lot of cop-outs in this tag. Again, I apologize. Prompt number 8, is there a specific type of genre you think is best, worst for reread potential? I think the best would probably be fantasy, simply because you are usually revisiting a world. And, you know, there's a lot that goes into a world, so maybe you miss something the first time. You know? Like, that would be my guess, would be the best. And let's see, the worst. I don't know, maybe the horror because you already know who dies? I have no idea. Let's move on. Alright, prompt number 9. Is there a book you've liked more upon reread? Well, since I haven't reread anything since, like, I don't know, 15, no. Prompt number 10. Is there a book you liked less upon reread? Again, I would have to say no. I just don't reread. I don't feel like, let's see if I can save this a little bit. I don't feel like my experience would change with at least the books that I've read recently. However, going back to Book Songs and Other Magics video, he made a very good point about, there was a poetry book that he mentioned and about how his viewpoint had changed. And I love that. I love that books can change based on our life experiences and where we are in our lives. I think that's one of the most magical things about books. It just is not something that I usually experience because I don't reread. Now, you can argue that that is something I'm missing out on, but you could also say that I am still challenged because, you know, as I grow as a person, you know, my reading tastes would change and how I approach the new books changes. So I guess it's really all in where you fall in that. So I understand both of these prompts, like the best and worst parts of rereading, and I think that they are worthy to look at. It's just not something that was really applicable to me as someone who doesn't reread. Prompt number 11, if you reread, let us know a book you'd like to reread before the end of the year. Okay, so this one doesn't really work for me on a lot of levels. Number one, I don't reread, and number two, I don't plan books like that, so oops. And of course, the last prompt is tag people. I honestly don't know. I think the only other person that I remember doing this tag was Criminali, and that's been some time ago. So I don't know who's done it. I was super excited to get tagged, as I always am. So yeah, if you want to do it, do it. So how disappointed are you in me? So guys, as always, thank you for hanging out in the panic room for another tag video. I feel like I should apologize to all of you because this put me in mind of like the absolute dumpster fire that I made of that tag that Michael tagged me in so many moons ago, and I'm sorry. But hey, you know what? I'm always gonna give it a try. I will always try. Anyway guys, if you like this, please hit like, hit subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time. Bye for now.